All right, let's get to the most controversial call of the weekend, even though it was an accurate call. It's not a rule that's applied consistently, Christopher.
No, it's not.
But it is a rule that's been on the books since 1997. They had a problem. They had an issue. Guys were scoring touchdowns
Emmitt
and
Smith
taking their
rule.
helmets off.
Yes. That's how I always understood it. It was Emmitt Smith. He was doing it throughout the 90s. Every time he'd score, he'd take it off. And then the rest, more and more people started to do it in the NFL. They were like, holy cow, that was every touchdown celebration. Take my helmet off so you could see my face and all of that. And, yeah, the NFL put a stop to that.
And God forbid, we should want to let the players show the world who they are underneath this robot costume that they're required to wear. God forbid that we allow them to have a sliver of individuality as they are celebrating their accomplishment. But that's what happened. This incredible pass, 67.6 yards in the air from Philip Walker, P.J. Walker, longest throw in the air since 2016. DJ Moore takes the helmet off, jumps into the stands. When you come down, you see Stephen Sullivan, 84, helmet off for him as well. My understanding is the flag was thrown for both actions, not just Moore. And, Chris, there's a discussion about whether or not Moore's should have been a penalty because he's beyond the field of play. He's still in the way they write this rule. There's no loophole for if you cleared the end zone.
He stepped out of bounds, and now you can
everybody would do that.
You could step out of the bounds and do a personal foul there, and nothing will happen. That makes no sense. There's the people that thought that was an issue. Yeah, go ahead.
But here's the rule: removal of helmet by player in the field of play or the end zone during a celebration or demonstration or during a confrontation with a game official or any other player. That is unsportsmanlike conduct. So when you look at and I'm going to lawyer this. Field of play or the end zone, okay? When they throw in or the end zone, that implies field of play means the gridiron. 100 yards long, 53 1/3 yards wide. Anything beyond that, you can remove your helmet. That's not the intent of the rule. They don't want guys, as part of a celebration, throwing off their helmets and running around. Whether or not they should care is a different issue.
Right.
But that's the rule, and it's been in place for 25 years. This isn't some new twist. This is a rule that's been around.
And it was for this specifically. Touchdown celebration, take your helmet off. That's why they made the rule. Yeah.
Sullivan was – Pete Demolitis told us yesterday Sullivan was on the field because I thought maybe he ran in from the sideline, which still was a violation. It's a different violation. Sullivan was on the field during the play. He took his helmet off. He was clearly in the field of play or the end zone when he did. But, yeah, they don't want guys throwing their helmets off to celebrate. You take your helmet off back when you're in the bench area because you're not in the game anymore. That's when you take the helmet off. So the problem is it's not consistently applied.
No, that's
we
the
see
problem.
Guys do this and not get flagged for it on a regular basis. Remember, wasn't there a play week 1 last year, Tampa Bay and Dallas, drive for the Cowboys should have been extended because Devin White threw his helmet off. Wasn't it Devin White that did that?
I think you're right.
After a big third down stop, took his helmet off and threw it down.
Right.
And it wasn't called.
Right.
An example of the inconsistencies that are rife in the application of the NFL's rules.
It is inconsistent. You see it. I think a lot of refs too, and I see players sometimes, they play it off like, oh, something's wrong with my helmet and I had to do that. I think that's where referees kind of get chicken, for lack of a better way to say it, when it's on the field of play. Oh, well, maybe he got popped off a little bit and he's taken, so they've kind of like stopped doing that. This one was egregious. This one was I was watching live when he did it. I went, ooh, I wonder if they're going to go throw the flag. I think we all did because this was like totally celebration, eat it, I'm in your face, all of that. And again, I know it's not always called here, but this was a little different than normal. I mean, it was unbuckle the chin strap, take the helmet off, jump into the stands, do all of that. And it was correctly applied. You're right. It's just not consistently applied the right way. But, I certainly, when I was watching it, and you were watching it too, when he did that, I went, ooh, I wonder if there's going to be a flag. And then we saw the yellow thing on the bottom and go, oh, they're going to get him. What an idiot he is for doing that. And it is amazing how many people thought that just because he was off the sideline that shouldn't be called because it wasn't the field to play. The end zone technically is not the field to play. So that's where people got to – the field of play is 100 yards, like you said. But either way, your point's real.
But it says field of play or end zone, and that's caused some to conclude that once you get beyond the end zone, you're beyond the white stripe, it's fair game. That makes no sense.
Makes no sense, right.
When we consider the purpose of the rule. It was Levante David, not Devin White.
Oh, that's who it was.
He failed to make an interception on a third down play.
Right.
He had an interception in his hands. He dropped it, and he threw his helmet off. Tampa was leading the game at the time, 14-13. He wasn't flagged, but he was fined $12,875. And look, Chris, one of the reasons maybe why DJ Moore didn't think in that spot, because it's not called consistent.
Yeah, you see it.
Some coaches maybe don't hammer it. I mean, think about who the coach of the Panthers has been the last three years, Matt Rule. Do you think Matt Rule was so buttoned up that he was aggressively coaching guys, don't take your helmet off, don't take your helmet off, don't take your helmet off? I think that's one of the nuances that was probably lost on Matt Rule. So, you got to drill things like that into the heads of the players because you never know when it's going to bite you in the ass. And it bit the Panthers in the ass. It pushed the extra point try back 15 yards. Eddie Pinheiro missed it, and then they went to overtime, and obviously the Panthers lost the game. But I can't think of a stunning play like that ever was followed by such a deflating moment caused by the guy who made the play.
Yeah, I know.
Directly caused by him.
I know. And there's for another day, the conversation of whether that should be allowed or not. We should have that. But it is one where, again, you get into, the emotions of the game and the moment. That's where, hey, I do feel for him. I feel for a lot of these guys with these type of penalties where, just getting in the face of another guy and going, well, yeah, you're trying to knock each other's heads off and that guy said something and you get in the face. It's an emotional football game. That's what we want from these guys. So that's where it doesn't always match up the way we'd like it to.
They expect them to be robots. Yeah. They expect them to instantly flip the switch. It is unrealistic, and it shows that the people in charge of the sport, too many people in charge of the sport don't know how the sport is actually played, or they don't care. They want to impose their will on these players because they're the boss and the players aren't, and it's not good for the game. It's not good for anybody. Let's take a break. Power rankings usually not good in the estimation of some of you out there, but you love to hate them. You get a chance to do that when we go over the Week 9 power rankings next on PFT Live. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.